Yep. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday we learnt about TypeScript. So we discussed about how to handle, what is the basic architecture of TypeScript we learned yesterday. So generally TypeScript language is same like your JavaScript, but some additional type safety and some additional object oriented features we have to learn here. Almost all concepts will be similar. Some new topic is there. We will see what are those. So yesterday we learned the basic architecture of TypeScript, how TypeScript actually works. Now, first you need to set up environment for TypeScript. So setting up environment for TypeScript, actually TypeScript is not ready to use in every computer. In every device, you cannot directly start using TypeScript. TypeScript you have to separately install. So what you have to do is open your command prompt on PC. So you have to open your command prompt, then type the command. You have to use the command npm install globally TypeScript. You have to run this command npm install g flag globally. If we don't use globally, TypeScript usually will be set up in the drive where you have installed. That means suppose you installed in C drive, it will set up only for C drive. So your projects all must be in C drive. Globally, it will install in program files so that you can use from any drive, any location we can use. After that, so you can check the version by using tsc -v. Actually, tsc is enough. It will get the version number. tsc is, yesterday we learned, it is TypeScript transcompiler. TypeScript have two compilers, the TypeScript core compiler and the TypeScript transcompiler. What is difference? Core compiler will translate the TypeScript language by verifying its syntaxes, parsing techniques and all. Once it is converted, it will be translated into JavaScript. That is done by transcompiler. So what we need to do is we need to set up here. We need to run in the command prompt. So in the command prompt, let's open. And here you need to run tsc. First, I will install npm install globally TypeScript. You can use globally anywhere in the command. At the end or in between, you can write. It is installed successfully. So now we will check TSC-V. This is the TypeScript version. TypeScript current version is 5.5.4, but actually companies are still using 4 TypeScript 4 version. 5 is very latest. Even the minor releases it is having, TypeScript is very latest. Currently, even React also, whenever we use create React projects, it will be using TypeScript 4 version. In TypeScript 5, some new features are there, but they are not required for people who are using TypeScript for general web development. I already told you TypeScript is individually used for building large scale applications. For them, there are so many concepts. As a web developer, when you are learning TypeScript, our main intention is how it can make our JavaScript better. Because individually TypeScript is just like you learn a Java language. It's a huge hoop language. So many features are there. So just like how you learn Java, C++ and all, TypeScript also same. But usually web developers don't need complete TypeScript. They need TypeScript for web. So what TypeScript topics you are learning here, they are enough even for Angular also. That means in future, if you have to work with Angular or learn Angular, there whatever TypeScript they use, the same I am going to teach here now. That means now this knowledge of TypeScript is enough at higher level in any project, Angular, React, Vue, anywhere the same TypeScript is used. So we will discuss all the required concepts of TypeScript. So once you set up TypeScript, now what we will do is we are not going to use JavaScript. We are not going to use a React project directly. We are going to first learn language TypeScript, then we will use it in a React project, right? First we will learn individually language, then we can use it for React project. So for that, what you do is create a new folder for a TypeScript project. You have to create a new folder for TypeScript project. So any location in your computer, suppose in my computer, let's say some D drive, and I will just add here a new folder I am adding, that is a TypeScript project. So in my D drive, I am adding just TypeScript project. So this is a new folder in my device, TypeScript project I am defining. Now, next what we need to do is open folder in. Then you have to run the command, run the command. So what is the command is tsc init, and here we have to run this command in terminal. tsc init, you have to run this command in terminal. You remembered we individually when we built the project, we used npm init. Actually, tsc init is nothing but they made some changes in TypeScript. Actual, when you are using TypeScript as a language, we say that TypeScript will translate into JavaScript. Now the question is, into which version of JavaScript it will translate? JavaScript ES6, ES7, ES8, ES22 is the latest JavaScript. So TypeScript will translate into JavaScript. Which version? And TypeScript will use a module system for classes, functions, exporting. Which module system? Where it should keep all JavaScript files. This all configuration is kept in a file called tsconfig.json. Every project that uses TypeScript as a language, it have one special file, and that file is tsconfig. In React or Angular or Vue, any technology, if you are using TypeScript, one extra file you will see, which you may not have seen in JavaScript. One extra file you will see is tsconfig.json. The tsconfig.json is for generating a configuration file for TypeScript project. Actually, in that earlier, we used to have two files. One is tsconfig.json one file. Another one is tslint.json. But recently what they have done is they removed this permanently. Permanently they removed the tslint. They moved everything into tsconfig. Why they were having two files earlier? Because one file is for configuring TypeScript. Another file, lint, is language analysis tool. It is for setting rules for language. Setting rules for language means you are writing a string. String must be in double quote or single quote or backtick. One person write double quote, another person write single quote, another person write backtick. That leads to lot of inconsistency. So we can set rules so that all developer follow the same rule. If anybody violates, it will warn saying that in this project a string is configured with double quote. So you have to do double quote. Such rules we can define in tslint. Recently what they have done is they moved this to tsconfig. That means tsconfig is only the file now we have. 5-7 years back projects, you actually see two files in TypeScript projects, Angular or React everywhere. That is tsconfig, tslint. But now there is no tslint. We have only tsconfig. So what you need to do is, let's open the Visual Studio Code. And in this Visual Studio Code, let's open the project location. So, and open folder. Here, this is our D drive. I created a TypeScript project. TypeScript project. And this is an empty. Let's open the terminal here. And in the terminal, we are running the command tsc and init. So this tsc init is the command hyphen I missed. Yeah. This is the command. It is going to generate the file tsconfig.json. So we have to run this command in the terminal tsc-init. So what it is going to do is it generates TypeScript configuration file. TypeScript configuration file tsconfig.json. the TypeScript configuration file tsconfig.json. So in this file, all the rules of TypeScript are defined. Later, when you create a project of React with the TypeScript, lot of rules you will see in this file. So all those rules you can customize according to your requirements. So here you can observe the tsconfig.json is created, and you can see tsconfig.json. It is already having all the rules. You see all the rules are there, but all are commented. So some rules are enabled here. Some rules are enabled. See the rules. Some I will explain here. See, the target is ES 2016. Means what? It is JavaScript ES6. 2016 is ES6. JavaScript versions are ES. ES5, ES6 are JavaScript versions. ES is actually ECMA 2015, 2016 like that. If you want, you can change. If you are using some latest features of ES7 or 8, then you can change the target of ES as ES 2017, 2018. And you observe actually it is using module system. It is using a module system CommonJS. You saw module system UMD, AMD. In the beginning, we learned CommonJS, UMD, AMD, ES module. These are different module systems. It is using default module system. If you want, you can change the module system, but changing module system is not enough. You have to make sure that that module system is installed. If you install, then only it will work, right? So by default, Node.js comes with CommonJS, UMD like module system. So it is enough. It is okay. And so many rules are there. So many rules are there. You can uncomment those rules. You can comment and comment the rules. It will show you so many rules here. One by one, you will understand some important rules when you are learning the language. And you can enable them. Later in React project, these all files will, rules will be enabled actually. That means you will it will give a detailed information about that rule. You can read here. You don't need to worry. That means what is that rule? What is its purpose? Everything it will show here. So every professional project which is using TypeScript as a language, it will have a file called tsconfig. And that tsconfig is generated by using this command ts. Now, next important is where to write the TypeScript code. TypeScript code is written in a TypeScript file. We have to write TypeScript code in a TypeScript file. So add a new TypeScript file. So index.ts. Index.ts. TypeScript files usually have extension ts. Index.ts is the TypeScript file extension ts. So as of now, we are not using TypeScript for any web development directly. First, we are learning TypeScript language. So what we will do is we will not integrate with JavaScript, with HTML pages and all. We will just use TypeScript as a language in command line. We will learn all the language. Then we will implement in our React. But actually what you can do, write program of TypeScript, translate it to JavaScript and use that JavaScript in a HTML page. That is the basic process how we do. Initially, what we will do is just design a TypeScript file, write the program, understand the language, run and see in the command line itself. You don't need to put in HTML. If you want, you can put, I will show the process here. So currently we don't know anything about TypeScript language. So first I will add a new file, index.ts. In this actually you have to write the TypeScript code. As of now, I don't have any TypeScript code because I haven't discussed anything about it. Just I will write like a JavaScript only where x equal to 10. And here our intention is not to use in the browser. Just test it in the command line. Then never use any DOM methods. DOM methods means alert, confirm, prompt, document dot write. Don't use those methods. You use only console. Console.log, and we will just put x equal to the value of x. Just I'm using a traditional JavaScript only here, but later we will put here TypeScript. Now, is this directly understandable to browser? No. Browser cannot understand. But very recently, just 1 month back, Microsoft has officially announced that they made a successful trial run of TypeScript in browser, which is a revolution in future. That means officially Microsoft announced that they had a successful trial run of TypeScript in browser. And if it work out perfectly in future, not immediately, it may be take 3-4 years more. That will be a revolution in web development because there will be no more JavaScript. Because till now we are using JavaScript because browser can understand only JavaScript. And they made it successful trial run. So which is very good. It is very good. And officially they announced that we successfully able to run TypeScript in browser. But for that, lot of complications will be there. It is not so easy because one of the problem with web is everybody have his own browsers, different browsers. Even today, after so many 20-25 years of JavaScript, still we have a problem in browser compatibility. From past 25-30 years, we are using JavaScript. Still, we have problem with browser compatibility. That means in some browsers, some options don't work. We have to ask our users that please use this browser for better. Then you can imagine how much time it may take for a TypeScript to take over everything. It will take a lot, but that's a good one, right? If it can run directly in browser, it is good. So now this TypeScript I cannot use in any HTML page directly. We have to translate it into JavaScript. So how to translate this into JavaScript? That means here I'm just using a simple syntax. This is not actual TypeScript code, but just. So this is the code I written in that file. Now what we have to do? Transcompile. Transcompile TypeScript into JavaScript. You have to transcompile TypeScript into JavaScript. So transcompile TypeScript into JavaScript. TypeScript into JavaScript. You have to transcompile TypeScript into JavaScript. How do we do that? You have to just run the command tsc, just index.ts. What this is going to do is it will use two compilers. Actually, we need two compiling. One is core compiler, another transcompiler. But transcompiler first invokes core compiler and it will first verify the syntaxes and all. Once it is finished, then internally it will translate the TypeScript into JavaScript. So one is enough. So this is going to generate what? It generates index.js. It generates index.js. It generates index.js. So what you can do, you can link index.js to HTML page or directly run in terminal. You can directly run in terminal. How to run in terminal? Actually, we have a node compiler. By using node compiler, we can compile JavaScript files. Node index.what.js. This is used to run JavaScript files. So JavaScript files can be executed by using a node compiler. Node compiler will compile JavaScript server side actually. Node.js is server side. It compiles JavaScript server side and generates the output. And if you want to use in HTML, you know what you have to do. That index.js you should link to a HTML page. Script source index.js. Right. So you run this here. Open the terminal. In the terminal, make sure that your location is in the same where you kept the file. Now in this terminal, what we are doing currently, we have index.ts only. So tsc index.ts, it is going to generate index.js file. One file is added. Automatically index.js is added. And in that, all the JavaScript code is translated. Remember how every concept is translated by TypeScript into JavaScript. It is not shown there. Finally, JavaScript output is created. JavaScript final code is created. Internally, how it translates everything, it will not show you. That means the final JavaScript code snippet will come. So, which will look like ordinary JavaScript. How it translated every phase, how it works. That means, for example, JavaScript don't have abstract classes. JavaScript don't have any abstract classes. In OOP languages, you usually have abstract classes. So in TypeScript, we have abstract classes. Now, how JavaScript converts a abstract class into JavaScript? That means in JavaScript, there is no abstract word. Then how it will converts? That internally happens. It will convert, it will translate, it will understand, and finally it will give you one code output. There it is no clarity about how it converted. Only the result is given to developer. How it is converted, that is internal process. So nobody can see it, nobody can show it. Right? That is internal process. There is no mapping. We cannot see anything. Just output will come. So the output suitable to abstract. And how it generated, what it generated, everything is internal process. That means it is just like, so doctor given a tablet for cure of fever. You taken the tablet and fever cured. Now you cannot ask doctor that show me how it cures the fever. That means how tablets goes into you, how it will dissolve in your blood, how it will go everywhere, and he can explain. right? But that is not necessary time waste. Why? Because that is internal process which is not shown, but it works. That is the basic thing here also. That means many people, when they see JavaScript code generated by TypeScript, they surprise like this is all like ordinary JavaScript only. Then how it will use read only, how it will use abstract classes. That is all internal job. You don't worry about it. It will take care about it. That is the concept of this. So you should know that once it is generated, TypeScript is converted into JavaScript. You have to run JavaScript. How do we run JavaScript? Node index.js. Node is a compiler for compiling JavaScript files, and result will come x is 10. That means it will display. Here you don't use alerts, conforms and all. It will show error. Obviously it will show error because alert belongs to whom? Window object. Alert, conform, prompt, these all belong to window object. If you write alert, where is window here? It will throw an error. So you have to use these console options. This is to learn a language. No, you want to test in your JavaScript with HTML, then what you do? Add a HTML page. What is it? Index.html. In this page, what you have to do, you have to script source. What is the script source? So /index dot what? JS. Obviously, when you run this, the result will come, but we executed that in a console. In a console, when you done this, that means inspect. In the console, you can see in the console, it shows x is 10. Now you can use alerts or anything. And remember, every time when you have to modify the TypeScript, it is not updated into JavaScript. Every time you have to transcompile. Every time we have to transcompile. That means, for example, instead of console log, I am using what? Alert. I am using alert. After that, what we have to do? Transcompile TypeScript again into JavaScript. That means tsc index.ts. It will transcompile into TypeScript into JavaScript. Now don't run here now. Node index.js. It is not good now. Why? Because I am using alert and you see error will come. Why error will come? Because where is window here to show you alert? But it will work in this browser. It will work in the browser. Majority to learn a language of TypeScript, you don't need a HTML page. You can learn all the language from command prompt itself. Means come terminal itself, you can learn the language. Once you know the language, then you can easily implement. Anyhow, in React, you will use in UI only. In React, your TypeScript will be working in the UI. So we will not use the UI here. We will just learn the language. You'll see the points. So what we have to do, if you want, you can link. So link to HTML page. So if you are using DOM methods, script source is /index.js. Right. Now let's see one by one how it actually works. So let's check the changes in JavaScript and TypeScript. What are the changes in the language? So let's go into the language part now. So in a TypeScript language, first in JavaScript language, same what you have learned, same variables. variables, data types, operators, statements, functions, all are same. Classes, everything, OOP concept, everything. But some changes you need to understand here. First, what about variables in TypeScript? So variable configuration, configuration, configuration is same as in JavaScript. Variable configuration is same as in JavaScript. So same as in JavaScript with var, let, and const. Those three keywords are same. Configuration is same. But what is the point here is TypeScript is strongly typed. Hence data type definition, data type specification is required. So TypeScript is strongly typed, hence data type specification is required. That means syntactically how we define var. So we have a name and colon data type. We have to mention the data type. Let, some variable name, and colon what data type it should handle. And same const name and what data type it should handle. And you know const needs a value initializer. No? Const cannot be declared. It needs an initializer. Var let can be declared, but const cannot be declared. It needs an initializer. Right? So all the rules of var, let, constant are same. There is no change. So variables in TypeScript are declared in the same way how you declare in JavaScript, but the data type specification is mandatory. It is required. But what is the point is when people use in React and Angular, so you will see that they are not mentioning data type. They are not mentioning data type. Why they don't mention data type, I will tell you what is the concept of that. Why they don't mention data type. Actually, TypeScript requires data type. Why they don't mention data type? Because TypeScript have a specialty. It supports a concept called type inference. Type inference. Type inference means when you declare a variable, if you initialize any value into variable, the initialized value type will be used as data type for our variable and it will fix that type. That means you don't mention the data type, you just initialize a value. According to the value type, the data type is determined. Actually, in JavaScript also same. You assign initialize a value, the data type is number. But later into that, we can assign another type. But here it is strict. You initialize number. Now it will not allow to assign string. It will not allow to assign boolean like that. So what is the speciality of TypeScript is it supports type inference. Type inference. That means here TypeScript supports type inference. So type inference, which is a technique of determining the data type of variable according to the value initialized. According to the value initialized, which is a technique of determining the data type of value according to the value data type of variable according to value initialized. So syntactically, suppose where some price is equal to, actually price is number, like this we define. That means it will handle only number. So if I write where price is equal to some number like this, usually if I write like this, then this will become what type? Number into price. Later if I store something like this is invalid. Here I am not mentioning the data type. So this is what first one is what, this is what without type inference. Without type inference, we mention the data type. Type inference means you don't mention the data type, just initialize the value. If you initialize the value, its data type is fixed. And now it will not allow any another type. That is the reason you will see in majority situations of TypeScript in projects, people not writing the data type, but everybody learns that in TypeScript, data type is mentioned. And you will be surprised why these people are not writing. Why? Because they might be initializing. If they are initializing some values, they don't need to mention the type. If they are not initializing, they are only declaring, then type is important. If you don't initialize, then what is the default type? So if value is not initialized, if value is not initialized, if value is not initialized, then the default, if value is not initialized and the data type is not defined, then the default data type is, actually in JavaScript, what is default data type? If value is not there, what is the default data type? Undefined. Undefined is the type. Here it is any. The default type is any. So any, which is the root for all types, which is the root for all types. So here it is not undefined. It is what? Any. If you declared a variable and you haven't supplied any value into this, what is the type? The type is treated as what? Any type. Any is the root for all data types. For all types. It is the root for all types. Any is the root for all types. So that is one new concept you need to know. So let's see here. How do we define the type? For for clarity's sake, what I will do is, you can run this program in command prompt also. For visual clarity, I am separately using a command prompt instead of terminal. So in TS, what we are doing, so we are declaring a variable price and we are not mentioning any data type. And you see the default data type is any. That is the default data type. Any is the type. And surprisingly, if I define here some number, then automatically price becomes a number. And into that price later, if you try to store a string, it is not allowing. Actually, JavaScript allows. In JavaScript, it allows. Here it is not allowing because its type is fixed as number. But I haven't mentioned the type. You haven't mentioned the type, but no problem because you initialize it. Based on that, I can take the type. So if you are not initializing, then any, you can assign any. If you are not defining, then you know in price, you can store a boolean also. In price, you can store a number, boolean, anything. That means any means it will accept any. That is the reason we say that it is superset to JavaScript. That means it can go backward to JavaScript also. TypeScript speciality is it can run pure JavaScript. That means in TypeScript, without following TypeScript rules and syntaxes, you write just JavaScript syntaxes, it will work. That is the speciality of TypeScript. That means you don't need to follow the rules of TypeScript and use until or unless they strictly mention the rules. So TypeScript is backward compatible to JavaScript. Just like JavaScript syntaxes you write, it will work. But the rule will be there when we explicitly define the rules. I told you TS config is there, in that we mention rules. Here observe now, I mentioned the data type. So how do you mention the data type? Data type is what? Colon, number is the type. Then automatically others will be wrong. That means it is not going to allow this and this. Only this is allowed. So once you define the type, then it will handle it. And what are the types? Types are same like you learnt in JavaScript. Number, boolean, string, null, undefined. These types are same. So how do you configure the types? So what are the types? So TypeScript types are the same as JavaScript types. That means what we do, we have a number, we have a string, we have a boolean lowercase, yeah. We have null, you have undefined. First we will learn about the primitive types, right? Later we will see the non-primitive types. These are all what? Primitive. So in the primitive types, so we have a number, we have a string, boolean, null, undefined. In number, you know already all will come. So including big int, right? That means number contains signed integers, unsigned integers, floating point, double, decimal, exponent, binary, hexa, octa, all these comes under number, right? And here there is very important question actually. Suppose people ask in interviews, what is difference between number and number, string and string? There is difference. Both are not same. Number and string, these are different. Actually, uppercase letter, that is a interface. That is the construction of, that is containing the rules of number. Those rules are used by number type. That means number lowercase is a type. The rules for this number type are coming from an interface called number. Number is an interface, and this lowercase number is a type which implements those rules. That means what is the range of number? What is the number limitations? Everything is defined by this. Same, you learned string. String is the type, and uppercase string is a interface of string, because all string methods, char at, char code at, index of, slice, substring, all those methods are defined here, and they are implemented by this type. We can use all those methods by using the type. There is difference. Just like you remembered, na, I told you difference between form and form, both are different. One is what? HTML form, another one is a component of a third party, right? So here lot of variations will be there, but types will be all lowercase. Types will be all lowercase. So number, string, boolean, null, undefined. And I don't need to explain what value can be in a number type, what value can be in a string type. No need to know that. Already you know string, single quote, double quotes, backticks, These all are common things. But here another speciality is there. So this is number. How do we make it string? That means we will just write as a string. Remember, it is not uppercase string. It is not uppercase string because uppercase string is actually interface. It is an interface. Later you will learn about that interface. I will explain that. It is an interface. String is a type. S is a type. This is a type. This is the type. Price is a string type. But this S uppercase is an interface. It is an interface. What are interfaces? We will see. So you need to mention everything in lowercase. All these are in lowercase. In lowercase. And when you say boolean, automatically only boolean will be valid. Others are not valid. You can configure the type and you can define the type, right? So syntactically, where, so price, suppose say name is a string, some TV, something like this. So where price is number is equal to some number. So where stock is a boolean, so it is equal to true. Like this we can configure. Now this is general how you define the types and how you configure it. Now what is another speciality about TypeScript is actually TypeScript supports union of types. TypeScript supports union of types. So which allows to handle multiple types, which allows to handle multiple types. This is very, very important because without this union, several problems will come. Union of types, it is very important. Otherwise, issues will come. Why issues will come? I will tell you a simple point. Suppose I am declaring a variable, some username. My intention is to take the name. You have to take the name from a prompt. Now tell me one more I am giving here, where choice. I am giving here, I am taking this choice from a confirm. From a confirm, I am taking the choice. From confirm, they will enter yes or no. You know, confirm box, yes or no. Now the question here is, now what should be the type of choice? Tell me. What should be its data type? What a confirm box returns in HTML? You learned JavaScript, HTML. What a conform box returns? Conform box returns boolean, true or false. On yes, it is true. On cancel, it is false. So what should be the data type? It should be what? Boolean. Now what a prompt returns? What a prompt returns? Prompt returns a string when you click OK. If you click cancel, if you click cancel, prompt returns null. Now what is type? Understood the point? That means now prompt have two types to return. On OK, it will return a string. On cancel, it will return null. Then what should be my data type? Any? Can I use any as type? How you will use any? If I use any, Boolean also can store. You cannot use any because any okay. Any will allow all types. So, but Boolean also can store. I don't want. I want strictly only null or string. Then how do you define? So you say string and pipe null. This is called union. You can add any number. Null, string, boolean, pipe. You can add any. So this is union of types. This allows a variable to handle different types. Different types but strongly typed. That means it doesn't mean that it will handle all types. Then they will ask you question like, then what is any? Any will allow all types. We don't want all types, only specific. Because we are expecting many situations, you will see that the values will return multiple types. Multiple types. Sometimes it will be undefined or value. You know, at compile time, if value is not supplied, then what it will return? At compile time, value is not supplied, then what it will return? It will return undefined. At runtime, value is not supplied, then it will return null. That means it can be number or undefined, or it can be string or null. Like that, they can change. Then union of types is very important. Union of type is very important. So because you see now here, let's say this is, so where username and the username, so we are using equal to taking from a prompt and enter name. And you see that when I define like this is username. Now what is the expected from this username? You see string or null automatic. Because type inference is working, so it will fix it. It knows, right? That is very recent actually. This is very recent of TypeScript. Earlier it shows error. Earlier means just 1-2 months back only. Not, this is very recent. Very recently, internally, it is able to apply the unions. Earlier, it is unable to apply the unions. So you have to manually apply the union. Earlier, it have type inference. In the beginning of TypeScript itself, they have type inference, but not for union. Now they have added type inference for unions also. That means according to which element you are using, it understands which type to define. Even union types also. Actually, earlier there is no type inference for union. There is type inference only for specific number, string, boolean, like that. But they added this. Now, what is advanced? Actually, what is the point is here we have to mention the type. What is the type? Because if you are not initializing, later you want to take. You are not initializing. Later you want to take the value. That means username is equal to prompt. So you say enter name. If you are not initializing, what is the data type? If you are not initializing, the data type is any. No problem. When you are initializing, it's okay. No issues because it knows what you are initializing. According to that, it will fix. Now what is problem? It may take a boolean also. Right? We don't want like that. Then we will make it fixed for which type string. Then it is error. It is error obviously, but you may think like prompt will return string only. Then why it is error? No, it may return null also. Now we have a problem. Then null means we have to use an union string or what? Null. There is no order dependency in this. Null or string or null, anything you can write, doesn't matter. Right? There is no order dependency in writing the types. You mention the types, that's it. That's it. Otherwise, it will get you an issue. Right? That is union of types. So syntactically, so we define where, so name as type 1, pipe type 2, like this we define. Pipe type 3. So we just define the types. That means, so where name is string or undefined, like this we define. So example, suppose we have where some username. So username, and here we are defining string or null. Then we have username is equal to prompt, enter name. So when you are defining the data types, one important concept is union of types. So when you initialize, you don't worry about the types. But when you declare and you want to use later, then it is mandatory to define that. Now, verifying null, verifying undefined, all are same. There is no change. Generally, how you verify undefined or defined, how you will verify null. Usually what we do, how you verify whether it is null. That means we just use condition. What is it? If username is equal to, what is that? Null as a keyword. Remember, null is not a string, is not a string. It is a type. It is a type. That means you need to verify as null keyword. Keyword. How do you verify defined? If it is undefined, suppose where price. Price can be number or it can be what? Undefined. Price can be null or undefined. Number or undefined. How you will verify undefined or defined? How you will verify? You know that if price, what does it means? It means if price is defined. If price is defined. Or you can want to check undefined, you can write like this also, is equal to what? Undefined. That means if it is not defined, but that is a negative approach. We verify defined, not undefined. Then we just write like this. This is whether it is defined. So verification of null and undefined are usually done like this. Whether value defined or not, whether it is null or not, we verify by using this. So null and undefined are verified in the same way how you do in in JavaScript. That means if username is equal to null keyword, that is. So if price like this, what does this means? Returns true if defined. Value. What this will do? It returns true if so prompt is cancelled. Or you can say if value is null, because it is not just a prompt anywhere, it can be. So when you are dealing with the types, so how we configure the types and define. So we have to verify the types. So all primitive types basically are same. There is no change much. Only one additional thing you need to understand is data type, how you configure union of types, and how you uh, initialize type inference. So these are the basic changes. So actually people who don't know JavaScript, for them it is again a big language. But for JavaScript people it is simple because already we know everything about variable. Just additionally what we have to know here. That's the point. Now the differences starts more concept about the non-primitive types. Non-primitive types. In the non-primitive types, what are the non-primitive types you have learned? The first one is array. Now here you have a concept. Generally, what you learnt about array concept is usually means in computer programming, arrays are used for reducing overhead and complexity. The main purpose of array in computer programming is to reduce overhead and complexity. Generally, when you ask what is array, usually in JavaScript you learn, but and one more point I am giving here over you. Usually what people tell about array, that means when we ask what is array, what is the array, what is concept of array, then Java, .NET, C++, C, all these people have a definition. Like Java, array is a collection of same type of elements, which is not actually. Array is not same type of elements. For example, in generally, suppose we have an index here. Suppose we are having script. Suppose we are having var values is equal to array. That means 10, a, true. Are these same types? So these are not same types. These are not same types. Document.write, I will print those values. That means you see they are different types. They are working. So your definition about array is wrong. So majority you people may not know the correct purpose of array. If you say array is a collection of similar type of values, I proved you wrong. So array is collection of similar type of values. We proved that wrong. Can you turn off that fan? So, so that is wrong. That means it is not the concept of array actually. Then why you people learn like that in Java, .NET, everywhere? Like array is a collection of similar type of values. Then if array is not similar type of values in other technologies, then what is purpose of array then? You said array purpose is to store similar type values, but other technologies are storing different types of values also. Then what is the purpose of array? What is the concept of array? So actually, what is the main reason about arrays? Technically, arrays are used in computer programming to reduce overhead and complexity. They are used to reduce overhead and complexity. That is the main purpose of array in computer programming. Even in Google, when you search about array, you will see the same definition, similar type of values. Even Google is wrong. You may say that you are saying Google is wrong and you are correct. Huh? Of course, Google is wrong. What do you think? Google is correct every time. Can you trust Google Maps every time? Then, after all, it is also wrong. That means, what do you think? Whatever is in Google is correct? No, that is all the information posted by somebody like you. Right? Whatever you see on Google, you can't conclude that this is final, this is perfect. That means the main concept of array is to reduce overhead and complexity. That is the main purpose. So, what is this overhead and complexity? Is simple point actually. Do you know in the beginning, when we started using computing devices, electronic devices, the data in electronic devices, the data in electronic devices, we used to store the data in a magnetic tape. You know, in the beginning of electronic devices, data was stored in magnetic tapes. Even tape recorders, VCR. I'm talking about before CD. Even today, you have VCR, you have tape recorders, magnet tape. Computers also magnet tape only. Computers haven't started with hard disks and floppy disks. They started with magnet tapes. They started with magnet tape. And in magnet tape, the data is stored in a sequential order. There is no problem. In magnet tape, data is stored in a sequential order. Do you know what happens in a magnet tape? When data is stored in an order, usually a write head will go. A head will be there. Tape recorders, VCR, computers, they have a head. This head reads the data in sequential order. If we have to read the previous, do you know we have to rewind and use? We have to rewind and use. Have you ever listened to tape recorders? You have that idea? I want to listen to previous song, then rewind and listen. Rewind and listen. Because data is already in sequential order, there is no problem. Then problem started when we started using disk. That means computers started using disks, floppy disk, compact disk, hard disk. Then problem started. What is the problem is when we started using floppy disk, compact disk, hard disk, do you know in these disks how data is stored? Actually, data is stored in tracks and sectors. Data is stored in tracks and sectors like this. Data is stored in the divisions, means floppy disk, hard disk, compact disk, internally they have like this. They have like this. But what you people majority don't know is in this how data is stored is A, B, C. Like this data is stored. And it is D and it is E and it is F. Like this data is stored. Not in a spiral way. Not in a spiral way. Do you know what are those? Gramophones. You know gramophone? Gramophone stores in a spiral way. That is the reason when you put a pin, it will go to the center and stops. CDs, hard disks, floppy disks, they don't store in a spiral way. They store in this way. Actually, in floppy disk, CD, hard disk, what happens is usually we have a read write head. This read write head is attached. This is a read write spindle. It is going to move like this. It is going to move like this, and disk rotates round. Disk rotates round, and this head will move like this. That means from right to left, again left to right. It moves in this way. You can see, suppose you can see hard disk drive. Hard disk drive. You can see the hard disk drives images internally, how they look like. Actually, hard disk drive. This is the internal part of an hard disk. This is an internal part of hard disk. This is an internal part of hard disk actually. Do you know this is called, that is called spindle. Spindle. Spindle is a motor which rotates the disk round. That is a spindle. We call it as a spindle. And actually, this is what disk. That is the disk. The disk is made up of hard material. That is the reason it is called hard disk. Hard disk. And this is called, that is actually read write arm. That is read write arm. That means it is responsible for reading and writing data into the disk. And you know this is fixed here. Then how it will read and write? Now you can imagine it will move like a viper. It will move like a viper, left, right, left, right. That means how it will move? It will move in this way. Am I right? Disk will rotate round and it will move like this. Again round, it will move like this. Data will be stored in this way. Now, what is the problem in storing data like this? What is problem in storing data like this is actually, what is problem is, now at any situation, this stops here. That means after A and B, it stopped. Later, what happened? It stored E, F, G somewhere. Later, other data it stored. Now, what happens is this will come here and it will see that there is already data filled. Then it will move to the next one. That means there is place, but it is unable to store. This problem is called overhead. Earlier, we used to face this problem very much. That means there is memory, but I cannot use. That means earlier, every few days, usually what happens every few days earlier, what it is going to do is it is going to display that your memory is full. You reset the memory and all. Hello, who are you? Not UI. You can come after few minutes. Uh, So here the technical point is that the data is not stored in a sequential way. Due to that, what is the problem? Memory is there, we cannot utilize. Do you know when we used Windows 95, 98 and Windows XP, up to Windows XP version, every few days we need to run one command. That command is in your computer, still it is present. Disk defragmentation. You people don't know this. Why you people don't know this? Because it is internally done for you these days. Earlier we used to manually do this. To maintain our computer space perfectly, every few days we have to run this actually. I am talking about 8-10 years back, Windows. Right? Earlier we have to do this. Now you have all automation jobs. That means everything internally works and it will give you the facilities. But why they have this option then? That means they have a defragmentation. What is defragmentation is nothing but any drive you can select and start defragment. And what it will do, all unused sectors one side it will push and used sectors one side. That means again space is available. Why we don't know this option? Because you see, it weekly runs every time back in the background because it is scheduled in Windows. We can turn off that schedule. You can go to the settings, change settings and turn off weekly schedule. Then what will happen? Do you know? After using for 3-4 days, your computer starts saying memory full. But when you go to C drive, D drive, so much space is there. That means space is there, you are unable to use. To avoid that, we used to run this command. So what is the problem? Data in a disk is not stored in a sequential order. To overcome this problem, we invented a concept of arrays in computer programming. And what is the purpose of array? Array stores the data in a sequential order. If it stores data in a sequential order, then it will reduce overhead. And actually, array can handle different types of values. Actually, array can handle different types of values. Actually, array size can change dynamically. But Java, .NET, C, C++, these technologies are not capable of allocating different memories in a sequential order. That is the reason those technologies restricted array to similar type. The problem of your technology, you are learning as a definition. Understood? That means Java cannot allocate a sequential memory with different data types. That is your problem. And you are learning as a definition. Because actually array can store different values. I showed you just now. Array can store different values. Your technology have problem. Then what do you know what you should say? In my Java, array is similar type of data. In my .NET, array is similar type of data. Don't say array is similar type data, because it is not valid in several computer programming technologies, because they actually handle different type of data. Your technologies, that is the reason, do you know Java, .NET, these people have another concept called collections. Why they need collections like stacks, like queues and all these? Why they need? Because their array is not capable of. And in JavaScript, you don't need, because already it is capable of doing that. Now, do you know TypeScript speciality? It can work as both. TypeScript speciality, it can work as both. It can restrict you to same type. It will allow different type. Both. That's very good. In JavaScript, we cannot restrict to same type. You cannot restrict to same type. Array can handle any type. Any type. So, but in Java, .NET, C++, you can restrict to same type. There cannot be any type. But in TypeScript, both behaviors will be there. You can design array for same type. You can design array for different type. Different type. That is the point. That means array have actual purpose of array is this. Do you know what is the meaning of word array? What is the meaning of the word array? Why you call it as a array? For example, to the point is, for example, you see Casio keyboard. Suppose you know this is the Casio keyboard. This is keyboard. Some piano Casio keyboards are present. This is keyboard. Now these keys are arranged in a sequential order. Am I right? They are arranged in a sequential order. Do you know what we call this as? Array of keys. Array is a type of arrangement. Do you know the speciality of this arrangement? They are in a sequential order. Remember, they have a sequence. Like sa, re, ga, ma, they have a sequence. Is it necessary to play in the same sequence? You can access random. That is meaning of array. Array have a sequential order, but you can access in any order. They have a specific generic order. Generic order will be there, that after this should come. After this should come. But you don't need to use it in that generic order. That is the meaning of array. Right? Your keyboard is an array of keys. Do you know every keyboard have a standard layout? A, S, D, F, J, K, L. They have same options. Right? Same keyboard. But you use in different order. This is an array of keys. Why the order is A, S, D, F? There is a lot of meaning for that. Technically, there is a lot of meaning for that. It should be in that order only, according to electronic device. A, S, D, F. That is the order. You cannot have A, B, C, D. That is the order. But you use in different order. You will be wondering like, why my keyboard is not having sequence A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Why A here, B here, C here? Why I have to search? Because handle an electronic device input, you need that order. And that order you cannot use in the same way. You can use in a different. So it have a specific order, but we can use in a different order. That is the meaning of array. It have a specific order, but you can use in a different order. That is the concept of array. So what is the purpose of array? Arrays reduce overhead and reduce complexity. How they reduce overhead? Arrays reduce overhead. Array reduces overhead by storing values in sequential order. Sequential order. Array reduces complexity by storing multiple values under the reference of one name. That is actually the concept. Reduces complexity, reduces overhead, and all this. And as I already told you, array can handle various types of data in a sequential order. Array can handle various types of data in sequential order. Not only that, array size can change dynamically. Generally, every technology will teach you that array is similar type, array size cannot be changed dynamically. That is their restrictions, their technology restrictions. And in TypeScript, in JavaScript, in several other machine level languages, array size can change dynamically. Array size can change dynamically, which is not possible in several languages that use array. Here you can change the size of array dynamically. Here you can handle different types of values in array. What is advantage of TypeScript is it can restrict both. Right? Now, how to declare configure in TypeScript, we will see next session. Monday we will do that. Monday we will discuss about that. Now, lot of changes are there. In JavaScript, how you define arrays objects. Here, how you define, some changes are there. Those we will see in the next session. Monday will continue. Okay, right.